it's hard to imagine how people live out here. It's so hot out here, man. It's so hot out here. You don't even see people walking around. Like when you drive downtown, you don't see people walking on the sidewalks or nothing. Everybody's inside out here. What's up, Maxim? Yeah, the flight from LA was 15 hours. It was a 15-hour flight. What's up, Chicago Lass? What's up, Lisa? What's up, Cameron the Great? Yeah, man, but it's hot as shit out here, dude. Everybody following. There's a lot of folks in here already. Pile on in the room. But, yeah, the people here are very cool. The people in Dubai are very, very cool. It's like 110 out here. And the thing is, it's like you're in a desert. It's like there's no breeze. So you go in the shade. That shade don't be doing nothing. So there's no breeze out here. No, man, it's like being in a sauna. The minute you go outside, you are in a sauna. I don't know, when you see people on videos and posters doing all these outdoor activities, I'm like, man, if y'all don't take me somewhere to an indoor pool, yeah. What's up, French Yale? How are you, dear? Oh, they driving nice out here now. They balling out. They got some nice vehicles out here. They balling out with it. What's up, Cat Gaga? Yeah, we got to buy Crenshaw now. Hope you guys checked out my last episode of Tariq Radio. What's up, Tina Marie? On my last broadcast, I talked about what's going on out there in Crenshaw, how people outside of the community, and you got some bigwigs trying to buy that property out there. I want to thank everybody who has contributed and who's still making it happen for the Hidden History Museum. You see the link right there, hiddenhistorymuseum.com. We still need people to contribute and help with the building of the museum because we're at $250,000 right now. We got almost 260,000 raised. We got to get to $1 million. We're getting there. We got about 19 days left. So I think we're going to get there. We just I want us to get it in before, I don't want us to wait till the last minute. We really need to get there so we can get this museum popping. Yeah. What's up, VD Nation? Why can't the black millionaires donate? Which ones? Name them. What black millionaires do you think should donate? I think they should too. But I want you to understand this. We're going to have to not depend on that. See, I want black folks to get into the mindset of getting things done on a grassroots level. White society, they've tricked us into waiting on the one hand-picked black person to do all the work. I want us to get out of that mentality. That's a trick that they done played on us. I call it the MC Hammer trick. They played the MC Hammer trick on us. They get one black person and, they give this one black person a lot of resources and they elevate them. And then everybody in the neighborhood is depending on that one black person to try to elevate everybody else. And then that one black person diminishes all of his resources and he's right back down, which is where a lot of people wanted him to be anyway. You got a lot of people on some hater shit like, hey, why don't Hammer take us out the hood? Why don't Hammer buy us a house? It's the Hammer thing. And it's really a bad faith argument. They just want Hammer to not have as much money so Hammer can come back down with them. So we got to get out that mentality. We have to start looking at things on a group economic level. How can we get things elevated and get things done as a group? Racism is a group sport. They play against us as a team. You understand? And we're sitting up here pushing out one person to play against all these teams. That person is not going to win. Because a lot of black folks are scared to go out here and deal with white supremacy on their own. They don't want to jump in the game. Yeah? They don't want to jump in the game, so they want to push a quote-unquote prominent black person out. Yeah, a lot of people were saying, well, Van Jones got all that money. Ask Van Jones. I'm not asking, man, please. Van Jones has been vetted. They know where Van Jones is, and we're not going to depend on no one person. We don't depend on one person. You understand? There's almost 1,000 people in here right now. We have to understand aggregation of resources so that we can get stuff done as a group. That's what being on code is about. You know? We have to understand how everybody can get on the same page with little resources in order to get big things done. Yes, you can donate if you're in Germany as well. You can donate in Germany as well. Yeah, we got, as you see, we have some white supremacists in here. We got a couple of whatever, and that's another thing. Whenever black folks get to talking about anything remotely constructive, here comes the white supremacists. White supremacy doesn't exist. It's an excuse. Okay. Mr. White Supremacist man, get in here and speak your piece. And this better not be the bussy brother. We're going to get the white supremacists to come in and speak your piece. White supremacy does exist. You're proof that it exists. No, I did not take my children to get that. There you go. What's up, Mr. White Supremacist?
Can you be a white supremacist if you're Puerto Rican or Mexican?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can, because 80% of the people in Puerto Rico identify as white. They list themselves as white. Of course you can. Yes.
All right.
So why are you, okay, so Mr. Puerto Rican, we're in here talking about black issues. What's your constructive reason to be in the conversation?
A lot of white people like your stuff and follow your stuff and pay attention to what you're doing just because it's interesting.
I understand, but
haters.
we're talking about black empowerment, and you're chiming in, talking about white supremacy doesn't exist and all that. So are you,
maybe I'm being,
white supremacy?
You know how it is. I'm sure I'm being a little overly aggressive and sarcastic. You know, I'm being a keyboard warrior, but I do think it's blown out of proportion so crazy, like used as an excuse so much. And I think, I don't know, it's just, it gets old, man. I just think it's sad because
black people, so
go
you
ahead.
say black people, so you said that it's an excuse for black people to fail. Did you say something to that extent?
No, but I think some black folks, not all, of course, but I think some black folks will always point the finger at white supremacists or some invisible white oppressor before they ever turn the lens on themselves.
Oh, okay. So what's the problem that black people have that they need to turn the lens on?
Well, I don't know. If I had to venture a guess, I would say fatherlessness,
okay,
moral character, you know?
Okay, moral character. So
what?
Okay, fatherlessness and crime, moral character. Okay, but you're Puerto Rican, and there's a crime rate in Puerto Rico that eclipses crime rates among black Americans. So how come you haven't done anything? What's the moral character with the crime rate in Puerto Rico?
Exact same issues. But I don't see Puerto Ricans largely pointing the finger at the white folks. It's their problem.
You're pointing the finger and coming over here to get around what foundational black Americans built.
I'm supportive of the whole thing. I think it's awesome. Your movies, I think the museum is going to be an incredible idea. I'm supportive. I think most people are.
Okay, but
even white folks.
Puerto Rico, but you say they're not pointing the finger at no white people, but y'all haven't done anything about the crime in Puerto Rico. I'm hearing there's broad daylight jackings on a regular basis out there. The prostitution is off the chain. The
Absolutely.
crime is rampant.
I'm sure it is.
But how come you haven't fixed your culture? Instead of coming over here pointing at black culture, which we're trying to fix. This is what we're doing. This is why we're getting museums. This is what we're doing. We're trying to get things where we can fix our community, and you're jumping in our conversation, but you haven't fixed the issues in Puerto Rico, sir.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's be realistic. Who's going to fix the issue in an entire community? I think an opinion is fair to share. I think everybody pays attention and offers their opinion on everything. I don't think you have to be gay to mention a gay issue. You have to be black to mention a black issue. I just think it's okay to make an observation without, you know, having to be a negative person or a hateful person or a white supremacist. Most people are not white supremacists. You know, I thought white supremacists were like, yeah, I'm a white supremacist. So what? White is right. We made everything. I mean, how come white supremacists don't claim it?
Those are white extremists. Those are white extremists. And white supremacy exists because the white supremacists, the people who created the system of white supremacy, said that they were creating a system of white supremacy. That's their word. That's not our word. White supremacy is their word. They have Confederate statues all over the country of people who were promoting white supremacy to this day. So white supremacy is a very real thing. That's their word. You understand? It's not nothing that we made up. They badged it into our heads that they were white supremacists and white people are going to be supreme. You understand that?
I can understand that.
Okay, but going back to the fatherless thing, let's go back to the fatherless thing. You said another problem with black people is fatherlessness. That's a problem with black people?
What's a problem everywhere, but the numbers are high in the black community. I'm sure.
Well,
I mean, I know the government has a big thing to do with that. Democratic policy, welfare state. I mean, it's an issue that goes way beyond just the black community, but that's an issue there.
Okay, and you
you got to have a man in the house to raise those men.
I assume that you're right wing, right? You're a right winger.
I see myself as right of center. Yeah.
Right. And what's interesting, you're a right winger, but Trump went out there to Puerto Rico and disrespected everybody. He was throwing paper towels at you guys, at your people. But
I don't think that's. I think that's no big deal. Who cares? I mean, that was so petty. You know?
Yeah. Okay. See, that's the difference between you and us. See, you guys were victims of white supremacy to the point where you started to identify with your oppressors. So when they do something based on white supremacy, it's no big deal. See, we look
throwing
at
paper towels. I mean, if he wouldn't have went there, they'd say, "Oh, he didn't even go. He went through some paper towels." You know, Trump. He's a freaking crass American. That's it's his personality.
Okay.
People were there with their hands up, so he threw the goods. I don't think that's the worst thing he's done.
Oh, okay. And that's the difference between the way you guys view white supremacy and the way we do. See, we look at white supremacy as a big deal. We fight white supremacy. We're the only group that's constantly fighting white supremacy. You have to admit that y'all been conquered by white supremacy.
I don't know who you mean by y'all. Who do you mean by y'all? Puerto Ricans?
White identifying non-Anglo Puerto Ricans such as yourself.
I've never identified as white my entire life. Never in my life.
Do not
never.
It. I can almost guarantee your paperwork says that you're white. Please don't lie, sir.
Tariq.
I can almost sir, stop it. Stop, sir. Your paperwork says you're white. Almost every Puerto Rican who comes over here, even the dark ones, put white on their paperwork as race.
Never in my life. Never in my life. I get insulted. Listen, when my black friends.
Okay, listen. No, stop it. Because they only have a couple of race categories. They have white, black, native, indigenous. They have 3 basic categories.
Then I got to click white. Got no choice. Then I have no
Thank
choice.
you. Well, you could choose indigenous. You could choose that, but you don't identify as indigenous.
I click Hispanic.
You don't identify as, Hispanic is not a race. That's an ethnic group.
But that's a box.
And they specify that on the census. They specify that on the census. Okay.
Okay. Let me just tell you one little thing about me, and I'm being totally honest. I swear on my daughter. Growing up, I always considered myself Hispanic. Right. A lot of my friends, especially my black friends, they just think I'm white. It never came up. And when it does come up, when they're like, "Oh man, you white boys are always," I'm like, "You white boys? Why would you call me that? I'm Hispanic." And they laugh at me like, "You don't want to be white." They laugh at me. I don't like being called white. I never have. I think Hispanics feel the same way. I honestly, it's makes me feel corny.
No, stop it. They don't feel that way. In fact,
I do
over here to make Hispanic a race, it was Hispanic organizations that fought against that. LULAC and all of these other Hispanic organizations, they said, hell no, we want to be classified as white. So they had to change the census again.
I can't relate to that.
Later. Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
No, I can't. Tariq, you have my word.
That,
you have my word. I cannot relate to that.
You're conveniently ethnic when it serves. At the end of the day, you guys identify with your conquerors.
I would have no problem saying it if that was the case. Yeah, listen, you have my word as a man. I have no problem. If that was the case, I would just say it if I did. I don't like to be called white. I don't like it. It's always annoyed me my whole life.
But at the end of the day,
I'm just being honest.
Doors, you make sure that you get labeled as white. I don't believe it. And not only that, the thing is,
I'm just being honest with you, man. You got to take my word for it.
No, y'all claim white, but don't get the benefits of whiteness. That's the thing, and that's the thing that chaps your ass. You don't really get the benefits.
I don't like white. I don't claim white. I like to say I'm Hispanic because I am. I'm Puerto Rican and Mexican. Because I like to respect my forefathers, man, and say what I am.
That's why
So that's why you got offended when we talk about white supremacy. You get offended, and you claim you ain't white, but you're offended when we talk about white supremacy. But
no,
yes, yes, you are.
it doesn't
You were
offend
like,
me
well, y'all
because
talk
I
about
feel
white
like part of
supremacy
that
too much.
group.
Yep. You what?
Listen, I think we can get further if you just take my word for what I say. I'm not lying to you.
But you got the initial conversation was you being offended over the term white supremacy. Why would you be offended over a term?
I think it's because I think it's missing the point.
What's the point?
I'm telling you, because I think it's missing the point and it's frustrating to see. Not because I identify with white. I specifically do not identify with white. Never have. It annoys me if somebody thinks I'm white. I say I'm Hispanic.
Okay,
I'm Puerto Rican and Mexican. I know I sound like a white dude maybe.
Why do you have an issue with us pointing out white supremacy?
Because I think that it's usually missing the point. That's why. And it frustrates me, just like it would frustrate me to see my friend.
What's the point? Puerto Rico has been conquered by white supremacy, has it not?
If you say so. You mean
no,
it's an Americanized? So. It's an Americanized country.
What?
Is that what you mean?
In Puerto Rico, what's the language in Puerto Rico?
Okay, yeah, American money, speaking English. You know, it's been taken over by America.
Not
is what you mean by
English,
conquered by white supremacy?
Not just English, Spanish. You guys were conquered. Puerto Rico was conquered by the Spanish. Y'all think that you are offshoots of the Spanish Empire instead of the subjects and the defeated people of the Spanish. See, that's the thing. You think that you're Spanish.
Okay, do you ever deal with an individual you're talking to as an individual instead of immediately identifying them with their group? Because that's identity politics. That's why you know I'm right wing, because I don't play the identity politics game. You're black, so you're part of a black group. You're white, so you and the white supremacists. You know, I don't do that. It's not nice. It's inaccurate, that's an usually.
Group. Right wingers are often identity groups, sir. They share the same ideology. They share.
Everybody, just 100%, all the way down the line.
Okay, you kind of lost me here. I'm talking about, you kind of lost me. But we're talking about Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico was conquered by the white supremacist Spanish. True or false, sir?
I don't know. I don't want to speak on anything I'm not certain about, but I'll take your word for it. I'm willing to say yeah.
Is that a blue? Wait, hold on. Okay, got it. Is that a Blue Lives Matter flag in your house, bro?
No, it's just a black and white American flag.
Okay, that looked like I saw thing up there. Hold on. Show your Trump sign. I saw a Trump sign.
Yeah, I got a Trump flag on the ceiling.
Trump flag.
Yeah, Trump flag.
Okay. Okay, there you go. There you go. Okay, so you hardcore with it. You hardcore with it. Okay.
I mean, hardcore if you have a Trump flag?
Yeah, you're hard. And that looks like one of those.
No, it's just a black and white American flag. I got it because it was $5 and I like the way it looks.
Okay, got it.
I don't have any Blue Lives Matter stuff.
Got it. Okay, but you're talking about white. This initially started because we're talking about white supremacy. You say we point out white supremacy. Seems like, again, I might be wrong, but you don't really want to come to terms with the fact that your homeland was really a defeated colony run by white supremacists, right?
I'll take your word for it. I know it's pretty much America 51st state, pretty much.
Yeah, it got acquired by the U.S. later on down the line, but the general
it'd probably be a mess if it wasn't for this country.
Yeah, okay, right. But the forefathers of this country were white supremacists by their own admission. So I'm just trying to see where we're incorrect, where we talk about white supremacy when been defeated, the victims of white supremacy, they're the ones who said that they're practicing white supremacy. You understand?
I understand.
Okay. So again, I'm just trying to see why it was just so in parallel.
I was just sharing my opinion. You know, I was sharing my opinion. I hate when you don't focus on it enough, you think? Or the black community?
Well, of course, the dominant society, they focus on it, but they just don't talk about it openly. They talk about it behind closed doors, and they have think tanks, and they have all types of little. Well, we don't talk about it enough. I think a lot of black people are in denial about it.
Okay. All right. You know, just personally, I don't know about my group or who my group's supposed to be or whatever, but I'm not a hater. You know, I mean, I'd like to see everybody doing good. There's a mess all over every community in this country, not just black folks, not just Puerto Rican folk. I mean, lower socioeconomic white folks doing worse than anybody else, if you want to be real about it. The family, the marriage,
Yep.
the crime rate. I mean, but any group, if I were to peek my eyes into anybody's discussion and, you know, think that something I want to add a little bit, or maybe I feel like personally that might be missing the point, or there might be a larger issue, I might make mention of it. I mean, I'm not trying to be a hater or a white supremacist or anything like that. That's all. You know, maybe I was being a little bit of a jerk, but you know how people are behind the keyboard get stupid, so I apologize for that.
Okay. All right. There you go.
I appreciate you giving me the time, though. I am a big fan of all your movies and everything you do, so I appreciate you giving me the time.
There you go. Are you gonna? And then what you can do is donate to the museum. You can do that.
I bought your movies. I will donate to the museum.
Good. And do you? And oh, by the way, over there in Puerto Rico, do you still speak to your black abuela? Because I know you got one over there. There's a black relative over there in Puerto Rico. Do you still keep in touch with them?
She recently passed away, but I did have a very dark abuelita out there who, yeah.
Absolutely.
You're right.
Yes, you did. Absolutely. But God bless her.
I brought my black friend to Puerto Rico. He started speaking English to her. He's like, "Oh, she's black." He started speaking English. She didn't know a lick of English. He's like, "Oh my God, I thought she was black." Like, nah, man, she's 100%.
Exactly. All of y'all.
Yeah, her grandfather was black.
Yes, all right,
yeah, you called it on that one.
All right. All right, man. But thank you so much for calling in, man. Thank you for.
I appreciate you, man. All right.
All right.
Thank you. Take care, man.
All right. Okay. Where we at? Some people are saying we're buffering. Hold on. Let me get it together here, guys. Hold on. Let me remove that. Remove. Okay. Where we at? There we go. All right. All right. Can you guys see me? I know there was some buffering going on. But I already knew. It is. Again, we've talked about this many times. A lot of people from these Hispanic countries, they come over here and they start identifying with these right-wing white supremacists. Am I still buffering, guys? Yeah, they come over and they start identifying. It's still buffering. People are saying my connection is janky. We can hear you. Y'all can hear me? It's blurry? Okay. Only my side is still buffering. Okay. Yeah, it was a decent conversation. See, when we have conversations like this, you know, I like to get to the constructive end of it. I want to see what constructive value, because, you know, he was low-key trolling in the room a little bit. No, when we have discussions like this, I want to see the constructive outcome of it. Y'all hear me just fine. Court, can you see me, though? Okay, it's just a little blurry. Hopefully and it might be my connection over here. Again, I'm in Dubai, so the connection here is a little funny style. So that's why some of y'all might not be able to see me as well. The connection is a little janky, but y'all can hear me, though. So just, ladies, imagine my section is while y'all hear me. Fellas, don't do that. But I'm bullshitting. But it was a real decent conversation. And again, this shows how other groups, let's be very honest, a lot of other groups, they've been completely identify with their conquerors. See, that's the difference between foundational Black Americans and other groups. We're still fighting the conqueror. You dig? We're still fighting the conqueror. We're still fighting the white supremacist. Other groups are making excuses for the white supremacists. When I pointed out how disrespectful Trump was when he went to Puerto Rico, oh, that's nothing. And he got Trump banners all over the house. That's somebody, unfortunately, they've been defeated. They've been defeated by the white supremacist. Yeah? Phil Valentine. Oh, yeah, Phil Valentine is going to be mentioned. Yes, Heru. Yes, the museum is for, it's for all Black people globally. It's going to be run by foundational Black Americans, but it's for everybody. It's for all Black people globally. Because we're going to talk about our history. Our history is interconnected. We're going to talk about that. All of that's going to be talked about because there is a connection. We're going to talk about those connections. There's a connection to the Moors in Spain, to the Black people in America. The museum, we're still we have 250,000 right now on Indiegogo. We need your help, all of you, everybody in the room right now, while I'm live. And when said, did I use the museum money to go to Dubai? Well, I don't have the museum money, sweetie. I don't have it. So I couldn't use money that I don't have. I mean, a lot of folks start projecting shit that they would do. Am I freezing? Do I keep freezing? What's up, Redbone? So sexy. They jamming my kid. How am I? Can y'all hear me? Do I have to end the live and start it back? Let me do that. Let me end the live and I'll start it back up. I'll do that.